the Chui Aviation Business Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the episode 3 of the Chui Aviation Podcast. As you can see, we are sitting inside a luxurious Embraer Launch today. With me today is Mr. Khalid Al Hai, the board member Execujet, and also Dumani Ndebele, the regional FBO Manager of Execujets. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I am very surprised sitting here at DXB International Airport in a private jet. I thought DXB is fully now only for commercials and cargo. But correct me if I'm wrong, now I see a lot of private aviation are running in DXB.
Absolutely, and that's a perception that I think is out there, but needs to be corrected. DXB has continued to operate as it always has. There's also a perception that slots and parking are difficult to get. That is not the case. You can pretty much get whatever slot you require. 40% of the traffic through Dubai currently operates through this airport, and everybody who operates through here, including the owner of this aircraft, believe that it's something that works very well for them. The convenience of operating through DXB is pretty much unbeatable. A lot of the maintenance that goes on, Bombardier, Embraer, and Dassault, are all based here. So a lot of aircraft come in here for maintenance, as well as the convenience, because clients are pretty much 10 minutes away from the heart of Dubai. And for our clients, time is something that they cherish.
So I learned two things from what you just told me. One is you're an authorized repairer in this region for Embraer, for Dassault, for Bombardier.
Right.
And the second is you have an advantage now because you operate both from DXB and also from DWC.
Yes.
You have FBO facility in both Dubai airports.
Yes.
So that gives you a lot of advantage, it must be.
Absolutely. And I think Execujet's primary role is to keep private within private aviation. We have standalone facilities, which believe in terms of our concepts of operations, we give private space to our clients so that they can come through here in privacy, whether they land at DXB or DWC, they can be in and out of the airport as quickly as possible.
So I guess I'm wrong then. I always thought private aviation has all moved to Al Maktoum International Airport, DWC. It looks like there's still plenty of activity here at DXB.
Yes, definitely, Sam. I mean, we've been here since 2005. We've taken over because of the business have grown. We've taken over in 2012, the next building next to our FBO. We've converted that building into an FBO lounge for our clients. But the one in Dubai airport can accommodate the people who are living on the Deira side or the downtown side of Dubai. And then the one in Dubai World Central can accommodate the people who are living on the Palm or on Dubai Marina side, where it's closer for them rather than coming here and getting, probably stuck in traffic and rush hours. So we can accommodate both, in both airports, accommodate all our clients, with the service that is given here, of course, given in DWC. So they don't feel the difference. It's all Execujet service.
So guys, I want to know, how is Execujet doing during the pandemic?
Well, it was a difficult period, I think, for all companies and aviation in particular. During the lockdown, of course, there were very few flights going on. But thankfully, to the way that Dubai has handled the crisis, we were able to lift restrictions a lot sooner than a lot of other countries within the region. So we saw a lot of repatriation flights at the time, a lot of traffic coming in and out, and Dubai as the airport that has the commercial connection meant that a lot of people were able to fly into Dubai to connect out, to their various countries. So Dubai has really been critical in Dubai's recovery, and we are seeing this continuing through.
But with all the things put in place by the government to fight the COVID, I think people are willing to travel now. They are feeling more safe, especially in the private aviation. They've seen what we're doing. They've seen how the lounges are sanitized, the airplanes are sanitized after. each use. So they have that safety aspect now. Okay, they will pay a bit more to feel safe and to get that private feel as well, and to travel with their loved ones, because the country has been opened up, of course, with specific restrictions, but that doesn't mean that we don't do anything. That our life is going back to normal, and that's the only way of doing it. So I've noticed that a lot of people have been asking queries about charters, about new destinations, about destinations where big aircrafts don't go. They want to take their Falcons there for falconry, for instance. So they want to actually charter an aircraft. So we have recently, after the COVID era, we have noticed that people in the region here are getting more interested in wanting to fly private for the safety and for the privacy of it, Sam.
Do you have a lot of clients that were coming from a regional destination, arrived in Dubai, and then connect on to flying private jets, connect out of Dubai?
Absolutely. At one point, flying private was the only way you could come in and out of Dubai. When Emirates then started flying again with limited routes, a lot of private jets were actually using Dubai as a hub to bring people in from the region to connect to Emirates and vice versa. So Execujet was very much in the middle of making these type of flights happen. And I think we helped to at least reunite a lot of families who had been separated for such a long time.
That's very interesting to say, because the COVID pandemic has changed the aviation landscape so much. We all heard the sad story that commercial aviation suffered. But on the other hand, because of the lack of connectivity and lack of commercial flying, that probably has pushed a lot of clients who needed to travel on essential trips to come to private aviation. Is that right?
That is correct. We had a lot of new customers and new people flying private, because at one point that was the only way. But I think people also started to compare the prices of flying, first class or business. And flying as a group, it's not a great deal of difference. It could actually be cheaper depending on the route. So we've seen a huge increase in new clients coming through, and we're seeing that continue as the.
It's a matter of privacy. It's a matter of safety. So today, a lot of people are willing to pay a little bit more just to be on the safe side of flying, with people that they know on board, rather than getting on a bigger aircraft with, 300, 400 other people. So we have definitely seen a spike in people asking to charter, and people who have actually chartered planes. Before the pandemic, we were used to specific numbers, and now we have seen a lot of people asking and inquiring about the prices of the aircraft and the destinations that the aircrafts can take them. And we do all types of destinations regardless, and we have smaller aircraft. So when the client comes in and asks us about price and the pandemic or stuff, we can give a price that would put him firstly on the safe side and keep that privacy aspect of the whole operation going.
So you said you have a lot more clients during the COVID pandemic using private aviation, using the FBO facility of Execujets in Dubai. What's the feedback like? Do they like your facility? And is your facility safe? That's the most important thing, I guess.
Absolutely. Safety has always been the topmost priority for Execujet. And we were very much on the cutting edge of making sure that we had the equipment required, to make sure that, thermal cameras in the FBO. We also invested in a lot of sanitary equipment to ensure that we could make sure that clients coming through felt safe. Our concept of also having private spaces within the FBO where passengers go to a particular lounge gave them a lot of comfort in that they could enter the FBO knowing that the lounge is sealed. Nobody has been in there when they walk in, so they can actually relax with their family. So this obviously gave a lot of confidence to people coming through.
So as you mentioned, Execujet has been in Dubai for almost 2 decades. what are your expansion plans? And what are your ambitions in the short-term near future?
So Sam, we are building in Dubai World Central, and I will recall some people saying that the Taj Mahal of the aviation.
Taj Mahal of aviation.
Yes, it's going to be a very huge FBO where it can accommodate almost 15 different groups of people at the same time.
How many? 15, you said?
15 different groups of people at the same time. We managed, to put a blueprint where it is a very private facility, very open facility and easy access to our passengers, with all the highest standards for our clients.
So sounds like this is going to be your signature FBO out of all the FBOs you've got.
That's going to be the signature FBO of Execujet, and it's going to be imitated by a lot of different people in the region because of how huge and wonderful the building is going to be.
Our facility will be ready in 11 months' time. I invite you over to come and see it. I think you'll be very impressed with what you see. And I'll be happy to join you to have a cigar together.
Looking forward to visit, like you said, the most luxurious Execujets FBO in the world. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, gentlemen, and thank you for inviting me to see the private aviation at Dubai International DXB. And now moving on is the market updates and personal update from me. I picked up the most interesting and impactful aviation stories from the last month to share with you. Don't miss that.
Good morning. Welcome on board the Embraer Lineage 1000, managed by Execujet Middle East and owned by the Al Habtoor Group. Mr. Khalid Al Habtoor is the founding chairman of the Al Habtoor Group, and he chooses to use Dubai International as his airport of choice due to the ease of travel.
The commercial aircraft market has recently witnessed some surprising stories in the recent weeks. At least two well-known airline executives has departed from their role. Alex Cruz has stepped down from the British Airways CEO as part of major reshuffle at the international airline group IAG. He was replaced by the Aer Lingus CEO Sean Doyle as the new BA boss. In the Gulf region, Stephen Pichler, who was the CEO of Royal Jordanian, has announced his retirement, despite his track record turning around a few failing airlines, such as Thomas Cook, Virgin Australia, Fiji Airways, Jazeera Airways, and now the defunct Air Berlin. Stefan Pichler has been credited as a leading force to turn around Jordanian's flag carrier, Royal Jordanian. Now moving on to the next topic, we'll talk about the risk of contracting COVID-19 exposure around on board the airplane. United Airlines said the risk of COVID-19 exposure inside a plane is virtually non-existent after their new study found when masks were worn inside an airplane, only a 0.003% chance a particle from a passenger can enter the passenger breathing space who is sitting beside them. That study was conducted together with Department of Defense in partnership with United. More than 300 aerosol release simulating a passenger infected with COVID-19 were performed over 8 days on United 767 and 777 twin-aisle engine aircraft. Last week, IATA has came out with some impressive figure. So far, there's only been 44 confirmed cases that has been reported in which transmission is thought to have been related or associated with a flight journey. That is out of 1.2 billion passenger journeys in 2020 taken. Only 44 cases. So they're saying the chances are smaller than having a risk of tsunami on board an airplane to have COVID. Air travel, however, is still down about 70% compared to last year. But there has been an uptick in the domestic U.S. travel. Now over 1 million passengers has finally traveled through U.S. airport, which has been the highest number since March. Coming back to the business aviation market has been particularly colorful recently. Organizer of the MEBA show, which is the Middle East and North Africa Business Aviation Association, has announced the event will be postponed until February 2021 due to the concerns around COVID. The show will now be held from 22 February to 24 February instead of in December 2020. Meanwhile, Airbus Corporate Jet has launched a new private jet based on an A220 aircraft design, creating a whole new private jet market segment. The 220 business jet is based on Airbus A220 and feature a cabin that has improved connectivity, a Wi-Fi system, and LED lighting with up to 15 hours of range of flying. And now let me share with you my recent updates and whereabouts. Just imagine having a private 767 BBJ all to yourself without sharing. And I was the first passenger to just doing that in Switzerland recently. I have the good fortune of flying on a Comlux 767 BBJ Sky Lady, which just came out of a major refurbishment. It has a lots of Super 2020 luxury and technology on board, including ionization technology, which doesn't require you to wear a mask inside the plane because it purifies the air and removes all the pathogens. The airplane also came with a lot of super fast connectivity with 2Ku fast-band internet, which I actually enjoyed a few FaceTime call on the plane. And of course, at the end, it is all about your comfort and luxury in such a large private jet. Well, also last month, I have successfully launched my fourth book, which is called the Air 747, which you have seen here. And this is a book all about 747, which is a favorite airplane of mine. My journey in aviation has grown up with this airplane. I personally associate this airplane and have flown over 350 times on 747. And there's 22 unique chapters of my 747 journey in this book. Well, thank you very much again to listening to this podcast. If you like it, feel free to share and subscribe. I'll be back again next month with episode number 4 of the Chui Aviation Business Podcast. Until then, safe journey.
The Chui Aviation Business Podcast.